What do we got here? Teacher of the Year, Brandon Hargrove gets off with probation after admitting to abusing ex-student starting at age 15. Jesus. What? A married former teacher of the year has pleaded guilty to having an ongoing relationship with one of her female students starting with when the girl was just 15. Well, this is why people make the joke of right, teachers sleeping with their students. Anyways, Brandon Martin Hargrove was convicted on Wednesday of 12 criminal counts connected to her sexual assault of the ex-student while she was a teacher at Brazos Wood High School in Clute, Texas. Oh man, Texas. Ouch. The formerly decorated educator was sentenced to 10 years of probation and a 10-year probated sentence, meaning she won't face any time in prison, despite grooming her student and having a sexual relationship with the minor, which continued until the girl turned 17. Oh, it's with another girl. Oh, interesting. Okay, she's a lesbian. Okay, according to court records. Uh, on September 23rd, Hargrove's victim, who is now in her 30s, walked into the police station to report she had been sexually assaulted by her teacher nearly 2 decades earlier. Chief of Police James Fitch told ABC 13. From the get-go, we really felt there was a good chance this would go to trial, so we were a little surprised with the plea agreement. There was a lot of legwork by the detectives tracking down some of those people that went to school 17 years ago with our victim, and people she made initial outcries to, Fitch said. In 2006, you did not have the charge of improper relationship with a student that we have today. So that's why you got the charges of sex assault and indecency of a child, he added. The DA's office did include the victim. They talked to the victim before the plea agreement was accepted, and from what I understand, the victim spoke in court Wednesday morning. Hargrove's victim faced down her abuser in court, reading a powerful victim impact statement directly to her. Brandine, sorry. I face you today as the adult who now protects the child you once exploited and betrayed. You didn't just break boundaries, you broke a person. Today I go from victim to survivor, victim to victor. She told Hargrove as reported by Brazoria County news outlet The Facts. Hargrove's family, including her husband, parents, and sister, looked on silently as she was convicted of sexual assault, and indecency of a child. 10 second degree felonies with maximum punishments of 2 to 20 years in prison, and 2/3 degree felonies with punishments of 2 to 10 years. She will remain on the sex offenders registry for the rest of her life, police confirmed, as officials urged people to come forward even if the historic abuse took place years earlier. You mean decades earlier? Ugh. If it comes to that point years later and you want to come forward, don't hesitate because it's been so long. This is a perfect case where a victim had those hesitations 17 years ago. But now, in law enforcement, we're going to take it just as it happened yesterday and seek that justice for our victims, Chief Fitch said. Hargrove was fired by the school district in early 2024 following the charges against her. Wow. So there's no statute of limitations now, apparently. There you have it. What do we have here? NYC gunman on loose after wounding 3 at the housing complex, as horrified resident calls home closest to hell. So we already saw this earlier. A gunman shot up the entrance of an East Village apartment building earlier Sunday, leaving 3 people wounded. The shooter on the loose, and an elderly tenant calling his home the closest to hell. The potentially deadly shots rang out at the Lillian-walled houses on 6th Street in Alphabet City in Manhattan around 3:30 a.m. Holy shit. Super fucking early in the morning. And sent victims to Bellevue Hospital and the shooter fleeing. Police and bystanders said. I rolled out of my bed and hit the floor. A second-floor resident told the Post. Sounded like 6 or 7 gunshots. I heard a guy yelling, "Motherfucker, motherfucker." In the last 6 months, this happened 4 times, the resident said. I blame the housing authority. They keep putting people in here with all these drug problems and stuff. Well, you probably got a bunch of like drug dealers or people who have not a squeaky clean history, right? They shouldn't be putting these people here. An 88-year-old resident who only gave his name as Manny said. They got 2 gangs here. 2 teenage gangs, and they fight. This is the closest to hell. Oh, shit. He just says it. Locals said an argument had broken out among a large group of people gathered at the entrance to the complex before the gunman opened fire. Police said one victim, who has at least 4 prior arrests, was shot in the face and back. Jesus. All 3 victims were expected to survive, police said. The shooter remains on the run? On the Ian? I don't know. A 40-year-old man was hit in the groin. Oh, that sucks. And third was shot in the buttocks. Oh, that's unfortunate. Footage of the aftermath showed several women pushing past police to look inside an ambulance where one of the victims was being treated. One woman was seen collapsing and had to be helped to her feet by bystanders and police. Cops had not identified the gunman, who wore a red hoodie during the attack and did not reveal a possible motive for the shooting. They all live here in these apartments, where one person has 5 rooms and he rents out to other people a room. Oh, they're all here and they sell drugs. Right now, there are 6 apartments selling drugs in my building. Oh, shit. I've lived here 57 years, and I'll tell you this. This is the worst place to live. So basically, this apartment complex is housing apparently some gang members. And they run gang operations, doing selling drugs and shit. Doing illegal activity outside of the prying eyes of the public. There you have it. What is this? Israel threatens to arrest Greta Thunberg as a terrorist after activist sails for Gaza again. Yep, there we go. Told you. They're not going to take too kindly. And they're done with it. Israel government is drawing up plans to detain Greta Thunberg, a terrorist-level conditions, as the Swedish climate campaigner joined the largest flotilla yet bound for Gaza. Thunberg set sail from Barcelona on Sunday as part of what activists called the largest solidarity mission in history, bringing aid supplies to Gaza. They're probably going to take the supplies, but you're going back. They're probably going to fucking jail you now. But Israel's National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, is set to present Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with a plan to detain activists in harsh terrorist-level conditions in detention centers. Israeli newspaper Israel Hayom reported. The plan would also see the campaigners' ship seized and used to create a maritime force for police operations. So they're basically going to commandeer the ship, right, and take it as their own. And basically say, hey, thanks for the free stuff. Thanks. Sources close to Ben-Gvir told the newspaper. But yeah. Following the several weeks, they'll be sorry about the time they arrived here, sources told the outlet. We must eliminate their appetite for another attempt. Yeah, that means jailing them. Thunberg set off from Spain on Sunday along with British Game of Thrones actor Liam Cunningham. Oh, dude, you guys are fucked. And the former mayor of Barcelona, Ada Colau, among others, in order to deliver humanitarian aid and break Israel's illegal siege on Gaza and open up a people's humanitarian court. Oh, here we go. The climate activists told reporters, yeah, they're not going to let that happen. No, I don't think. Some of the aid was located on board boats setting off from Genoa on Sunday, while the rest will be sent to the Sicilian port of Catania, from where more vessels are due to leave for Gaza on Thursday. They are set to be joined next week by other ships setting sail from Tunisia and other Mediterranean ports. Oh, so it's a united. So basically, you have a bunch of, I guess, activists who are getting boats and then trying to sail with aid to Gaza. Right. Yeah. Good luck. I don't know how the Israeli government's gonna take that. Anyways. They are set to be joined next week by other ships setting sail on September 4th as part of the global Suman flotilla, which aims to break the Israeli blockade of Gaza as part of a protest against the war. You're not going to stop the war. I mean, it's going to keep going. I mean, they've already fucked up a bunch of high political officers and shit. This project is part of a global uprising of people standing up when our governments fail to step up. That people will take their place and that their atrocities and their complicity in the genocide go, dude, what are you even talking about? This is you're being like a white. You're trying to do like some white saviorism bullshit, and it doesn't look good. Trying to complete a genocide in Gaza right now. It is something that we can stand for, Thunberg told supporters as she spoke ahead of departure in Barcelona. Thunberg also rejected accusations of anti-Semitism ahead of her voyage of Gaza. It is not anti-Semitic to say that we should not be bombing people. The one should not be living in occupation. That everyone should have the right to live in freedom and dignity, no matter who you are. She's a blah blah blah. The planned crackdown comes just weeks after Thunberg and other activists were detained when they entered Israeli waters in a separate flotilla. In June, Thunberg, along with 11 other activists, was intercepted by the Israeli Navy some 150 miles west of Gaza. The group were given water and sandwiches and taken to the port of Ashdod, where they were refused to watch footage of Hamas atrocities from the October 7th attacks, according to Israel's defense minister, Israeli Katz. When they saw what it was about, they refused to continue watching, Katz said at the time. Israel's foreign ministry branded Thunberg stunt a media provocation before deporting Thunberg on an Israeli plan to Paris. There are ways to deliver aid to Gaza Strip. They do not involve Instagram selfies, the foreign ministry said. Thunberg said at a time she was kidnapped in international waters, claims the Israeli government flatly denied. Israel has faced accusations that its blockade of Gaza, on top of the bombardment of the territory, is leading to mass starvation and malnourishment among its remaining residents. Charges the county's government rejects entirely. The blockade has remained in place through conflicts, including the current war, which began when Hamas-led militants rampaged through southern Israel on October 7, 2023, killing more than 1,200 people and taking 251 hostages by Israeli tallies. Israel's military campaign in Gaza has killed more than 63,000 people, mostly civilians, according to Gaza health officials, and it has plunged the enclave into a humanitarian crisis and left much of it in ruins. And that's the post wires. There you have it. But this Greta has given up on her forecast of the planet's doom due to weather or climate change. Yeah, she's not going to the climate change shit. Now she's latching on to the right to the Palestine cause. Right? See, she's just an activist. She don't care. I mean, granted, when it comes to climate change, she does practice what she preaches, right? Even though she's like going on boats and trying to do stupid policy changes that don't mean shit. Anyways, Houthi terrorists raid on UN food and children's agencies in Yemen, detain employee. The Iran-backed Houthi rebel group raided the offices of the United Nations food and children's agencies in Yemen's capital on Sunday, detaining at least one employee, officials said. Members of the terror group's security force stormed the office of the World Food Program and UNICEF in Sana'a, with the UN losing contact with several of their staffers and stoking fears that many more have been detained. WFP reiterates that the arbitrary detention of humanitarian staff is unacceptable. Abir Atifa. Hefa? I don't know if the E is silent or not. A spokesperson for the World Food Program told the Associated Press. Hey, it's an AK. I want one. Moammar al-Ariani, Minister of Information for the UN-backed government in Yemen, told local outlets that the Houthis also abducted guards working at the UNICEF offices. Amar, a spokesperson for UNICEF, said there was an ongoing situation in Sana'a, but the children's agency did not provide further details. The raids come as the Houthis cracked down on security across the capital following Israeli airstrikes late last week that killed the rebel group's prime minister, Ahmed al-Rahawi. Yeah, apparently they fucking got him. Along with several cabinet members. Yep. The Houthis had vowed vengeance over the attack, which allegedly targeted the ministers while attending a routine workshop to assess their operations. The rebel group has reportedly targeted the UN for years, detaining dozens of staffers and other humanitarians who worked at the now-closed U.S. Embassy in Sana'a. The UN had suspended its main operations in the besieged capital back in January when the rebels detained 8 staffers. Yeah. The Houthis have ramped up their attacks on Israel since the conflict with Hamas began in 2023. The rebel group firing their first cluster bomb in 2 years this month, targeting the Ben Gurion airport, forcing millions into shelters. The rebel group has maintained that its attacks on Israeli and on merchant ships in the Red Sea will continue as a show of solidarity with Hamas. See, these people, right? These people will always attack, right, innocent bystanders. I don't give a fuck. Our military approach of targeting the Israeli enemy, whether with missiles, drones, or naval blockade, is continuous, steady, and escalating. Abel Karim al-Houthi, the group's secretive leader, said in a televised speech Sunday. There you have it. Yeah, the UN is pretty useless here, especially if you don't have like anybody to enforce like laws. Right? It's not good. Anyways, there you have it. Yeah, right. You need someone to enforce the rules and laws and right make sure nobody's fucking killing each other. That's not happening. Anyways, there you have it. That is right. The food. The UN Food and Children's Agencies in Yemen. All right. I will leave all the I will leave everything in the description like usual. So yeah. There we have it.